Well, I did bring my guitar this time, and since the subject or the theme of the month is creativity, I thought we'd start with a little song I wrote. I'm also a songwriter and record some of my original music. So this is a song I wrote called Hey Good Morning, and I thought it would be a fun way to start this morning. But it has a little clapping part, so I just want to teach that to you, and I'll just sing a piece of it. So it goes ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta, hey good morning. Okay, let's try that together. Ready? Ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta. Hey, good morning. You got it. When I was an intern in music therapy in South Carolina, people would walk around the halls and they'd say, hey, and being from New York, I didn't know oops, that's scary, that also meant hello. So that's where this song came from, with hey, good morning. Note to self, I have to get one of those straps that lock on. So we'll start with the clapping part. So it goes ta ti ti ta ti. Hey good morning. Hey good morning. Hey good morning to you. It's a day you'll never get back. It's a chance to get yourself on track. It's a morning all shiny and new, a precious gift that's been given to you. And it's a memory waiting to be made. It's a brand new game to be played in a world of discovery. Another chance for us to be. Here we go with the pattern. Ta, ti, ti, ta. Hey, good morning. Hey, good morning. Hey, good morning to you. And I'll stop it there. It's a little longer. But thank you. And hopefully if I don't talk too long, I'll be able to fit in another song at the end. But I could sing all day for sure. And I see some people from morning program that used to know that song. Okay, so thanks for inviting me here once again to kick off a new month, September. Hard to imagine it's September already. I believe September may be one of the most beautiful months here on the east end of Long Island, and one of my favorite months here. And also the theme creativity has to be one of my favorite subjects. I think being the first one this month out of the gate gives me a little bit of advantage, so I don't have to worry about someone saying the same thing that I'm going to say right now. That wouldn't be very creative. Since this is the first week of a new theme, perhaps we can start with a traditional definition of creativity. Here we go. Creativity is the state or quality of being creative, the ability to transcend traditional ideas, rules, patterns, relationships, or the like, and to create meaningful new ideas, forms, methods, interpretations, etc. Originality, progressiveness, or imagination. A bit more informally, creativity is seeing things in new ways, breaking barriers that stood in front of you for some time. Creativity is the art of hearing a song that has never been written, or seeing a work of art on an empty canvas. Its essence is in its freshness and in the ability to make dreams come to life. I want to take a brave little jump here and read part of a children's book that I have loved and lived by for many years. As many of you know, children's books are not written just for children. And some of the greatest wisdom of all can be found on their pages. So this story is called Frederick by Leo Leone. Has anyone heard this book before? And it takes place in autumn, which is quite appropriate on this Labor Day weekend. And don't worry, it will only take me about 3 minutes to read. And if you're anything like me, it will change your life forever. So Frederick. All along the meadow, where the cows grazed and the horses ran, there was an old stone wall. In that wall, not far from the barn and the granary, a chatty family of field mice had their home. But the farmers had moved away. The barn was abandoned, and the granary stood empty. And since winter was not far off, the little mice began to gather corn and nuts and wheat and straw. They all worked day and night, all except Frederick. Frederick, why don't you work? They asked. I do work, said Frederick. I gather sun's rays for the cold, dark winter days. And when they saw Frederick sitting there staring at the meadow, they said, "And now, Frederick?" "I gather colors," answered Frederick simply, "for winter is gray." And once Frederick seemed half asleep. "Are you dreaming, Frederick?" they asked reproachfully. But Frederick said, "Oh no, I'm gathering words. For the winter days are long and many, and we'll run out of things to say." The winter days came, and when the first snow fell, the 5 little field mice took to their hideout in the stones. In the beginning, there was lots to eat, and the mice told stories of foolish foxes and silly cats. They were a happy family. But little by little, they had nibbled up most of the nuts and berries, and the straw was gone, and the corn was only a memory. It was cold in the wall, and no one felt like chatting. Then they remembered what Frederick had said about sun's rays and colors and words. "What about your supplies, Frederick?" they asked. "Close your eyes," said Frederick, as he climbed on a big stone. "Now I send you the rays of the sun. Do you feel how they're golden glow?" And as Frederick spoke of the sun, the 4 little mice began to feel warmer. Was it Frederick's voice? Was it magic? "And how about the colors, Frederick?" they asked anxiously. "Close your eyes again," Frederick said. And when he told them of the blue periwinkles, the red poppies in the yellow wheat, and the green leaves of the berry bush, they saw the colors as clearly as if they had been painted in their minds. "And the words, Frederick?" Frederick cleared his throat, waited a moment, and then, if from a stage, he said, "Who scatters snowflakes? Who melts the ice? Who spoils the weather? Who makes it nice? Who grows the 4-leaf clovers in June? Who dims the daylight? Who lights the moon? 4 little field mice who live in the sky. 4 little field mice like you and I. One is the spring mouse who turns on the showers. Then comes the summer who paints in the flowers. The fall mouse is next with walnuts and wheat. And the winter is last with cold little feet. Aren't we lucky the seasons are 4? Think of a year with 1 less or 1 more." When Frederick had finished, they all applauded. "But Frederick," they said, "you are a poet." Frederick blushed, took a bow, and said shyly, "I know it." So here, the family of field mice are busy getting ready for winter, working hard, gathering nuts and seeds, and preparing for the long, cold days ahead. And then there was Frederick, who some might have looked at and called a little bit lazy, or not a group player. Instead of gathering food, Frederick was gathering the warmth of the sun rays for the cold winter days, the colors for the gray winter days, and words for the silent winter days. I think it is clear to see that Frederick was creative. He was thinking of supplies to get through that long winter other than the corn and the nuts, the wheat and the straw. I believe that in order to be creative, we need to gather the sun's rays, the colors and the words. We need to be mindful, to take the time to see the beauty around us and connect with our spirit. Just like Frederick, we need to keep our divine spark glowing. The idea of a divine spark, most common in Gnostic and mystical religions, is that every human being possesses either a connection with God or a part of God. The goal of life, then, is to allow the divine spark to influence us towards love, peace, and harmony. Upon death, it is believed that the divine spark returns to God. My thought is that the divine spark within us houses our creativity. In the book, The Soul Tells a Story, by author and editor Vanita Hampton Wright, she offers an accessible and meaningful framework for the creative and spiritual journey. What does it mean to be creative? For her, in a general sense, every human being is creative. When you take the stuff of life and rearrange it so it matters, so that it does good things, you are acting creatively. When parents of preschoolers come up with ways to occupy their exuberance for hours, she tells us that's creativity. The person in a congregation or in an office who never misses an opportunity to make a system more effective is exercising creativity. The guy who works all day and then comes home and tends his garden is being creative as well. The creative process does have its mysterious aspects, but overall it is, in her words, natural, and we are designed to work with it joyfully and fruitfully. Creativity is exploratory. Creativity is whole life engagement, opening us up, deepening us, disturbing us, delighting us, making us more whole, tying things together. Living in the moment, finding God in the ordinary, we don't have to do anything to make creativity spiritual or vice versa. Creative work, she believes, is soul work. It takes place in that interior place, that place deep within where everything important is stored. The creative journey and the spiritual journey are parallel. They require making choices on how to spend time and energy, processes and practices within a community that mentors and supports us, helping us withstand the rough patches and celebrating the blessings as well. I think I have always thought of myself as a creative person, someone that enjoys creating and thinking and putting words and ideas together into a song or a story or a poem. There have definitely been times while writing a song, most especially, that I have felt a divine presence writing through me. I'd think, wow, how did I come up with that? Or, wow, that seemed to come together easily. That, I believe, is the place that creativity and spirituality meet. As a kid, it meant being surrounded by things to make and bake, sew and put together. A treehouse, puppets, drawings, stories, songs, poems, maps. My friend and I never sat still. We were always getting into something. It meant very little TV time and lots of imagination. I think that paved the way for the creativity that I bank on today. Throughout history, creative people have expressed their connection to a divine creator. William Blake writes, "I myself do nothing. The Holy Spirit accomplishes all through me." Johannes Brahms credits the source of his creativity. "Straight away the ideas flow in upon me, directly from God." Music legend Johnny Cash explains, creative people have to be fed from the divine source. Visionary inventor Nikola Tesla said, "The gift of mental power comes from God, divine being, and if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with that great power." He adds, we have undoubtedly certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths when logical deduction or any other willful effort of the brain is futile. Great Spirit, God, and divine being are different expressions of the same experience. This is the state where the finer fibers that Tesla attuned to the creative broadcast. It is the key to accessing higher creativity and the portal for profound inspiration. You don't have to believe in a particular religion or spiritual path in order to access this state. So you might wonder how you can prepare yourself to function at the highest level of creativity. Once you embark on a creative endeavor, you can begin by asking for inspiration and insight with your whole heart. If you get stuck or reach a stumbling block, ask for help. You might wonder who you are asking. If you believe in God, ask God. If you believe in a great spirit, a divine mother, or a universal mind, then ask spirit, mother, or mind. Not knowing, of course, that we are all creative beings, here are some ideas that may help inspire you on your quest. I'm going to offer some easy suggestions for how you can bring more creativity into your lives. That divine spark that lives within us, or creativity, is like a campfire. If you don't feed it, the fire will dwindle, and it needs our effort to keep it burning. I think we need to feed our creative souls, and each of us that may look very different. Here are some suggestions on how you might fuel your inner creative self and add more creativity into your lives. Number one suggestion, surround yourself with inspiration. You will be as good as the things you surround yourself with. As quoted by director Jim Jarmusch, nothing is original. Steal from anywhere that resonates with your inspiration and fuels your imagination. Devour old films, new films, music, books, paintings, photographs, poems, dreams, random conversations, architecture, bridges, street signs, trees, clouds, bodies of water, light and shadows. Select only things that speak directly to your soul. If you do this, your work will be authentic. Authenticity is invaluable. And don't bother concealing your thievery. Celebrate it if you feel like it. In any case, always remember what Jean-Luc Godard said. It's not where you take things from, it's where you take them to. 2, be curious about the world you live in. Just like Frederick the Mouse, look things up, search, research, ask questions, look for answers. 3, keep reading. Surround yourself with books, all different kinds of books. Don't worry if you've had time to read them or not. Just having them nearby can be inspiration. Carry a notebook and a pen. Jot down inspirations and ideas, things you read, favorite passages, doodles, dreams. Write down the things that inspire you, things that resonate with you, things you want to always remember, things that spark your creative juices. 5, create a space for creativity in your home. Add markers, paints, papers, magazines, Post-it notes, things to make with your hands and your imagination. And 6, write, draw, paint, imagine. Not what you know. When I took a writing class, they often told us to write what we know, but instead, write what you like. The kind of story that you would like best, the story that you would like to read. And if you're not a writer, apply the same principle to your life and your career. Whenever you're not sure what to do next, ask yourself, what would make a better story? In Austin Keelan's book, Steal Like an Artist, he suggests that we draw the art you want to see. Run the business that you'd like to run. Play the music that you'd like to hear. Make the product that you'd like to use. And do the work you'd want to see done. 7, find a way to bring your body into your work. Cartoonist Linda Barry has a saying, in the digital age, don't forget to use your digits. Computers can rob us of the feeling that we're actually making something. Our brains can tell our bodies as much as our bodies tell our brains. Once we go through the motions, strumming a guitar, doodling on a piece of paper, shuffling papers, kneading dough, the motion can jumpstart our brain into thinking. A quote by Edward Tufte, American statistician and professor of political science, is, I have stared long enough at the glowing flat rectangles of the computer screen. Let us give more time for doing things in the real world. Plant a tree, walk the dogs, read a real book, go to the opera. The computer may be good for editing our ideas and publishing our ideas. Don't let the glow of the TV or of the computer screen fade our creative spark. And only 3 more points. Take the time to be bored. Some of our greatest ideas come from moments of boredom. While we are mindlessly ironing our shirts, washing the dishes, or going for a long walk. When the mind has a break from its busyness, the ideas have a chance to float in. I have written many of my songs just while out walking. So I don't forget them. I take out my phone and I sing them into the voice memo on my phone. Try to keep all of your passions alive in your life. Try not to discard any of them. Playwright Steve Tomlinson suggests that if you love different things, just keep spending time with them. Let them talk to each other. Something will begin to happen. It's important to have a hobby or two. This can be something creative just for you. And when you have a moment to create, invite the Spirit in. It is an amazing creative force within us, waiting to be called upon, waiting to be awakened. Keep the divine spark glowing and growing, as this adds to the richness and authenticity and creative individuality in our lives. It's what makes us alive. So now it's time that we all go out and live like Frederick. Gather the sun's rays, the colors, the words. Let them feed that divine spark within. Thank you.